Hey everybody, welcome to episode 46 of Qore, presented by the PlayStation Network. I'm your host, Jesse Blaze Snyder. Out on the frontier, an off-world gold rush pits miners against their mutated comrades. But you're gonna need more than a big gun to survive in Starhawk. Air combat meets pistol-packing ground warfare as you fight to defend untold riches buried deep within a distant planet. You'll build up your base on the fly, call down assault vehicles from the heavens, and take flight to protect what's yours.
So the build-a-battle system is a way for you to drop combat structures onto the battlefield. Automated turrets, energy shields, all kinds of stuff.
Then, Tiffany laces up and visits the Tempest Free Running Academy to see if there's any reality behind the fancy footwork in games like Mirror's Edge and Assassin's Creed. Join us for a crash course on this fitness trend.
Is the in-game parkour really possible in life?
Yes and no.
And cure your zombie fever with the latest installment of the Resident Evil franchise, Operation Raccoon City. The tables are turned as you take control of a soldier from the shadowy Umbrella Corporation. Just to be safe, you better bring an extra dose of antiviral spray. Also this month, step inside a fully articulated mech of destruction in the battle simulation game Armored Core 5. Customize your AC and embark on dangerous missions that will test your reflexes and your piloting abilities. Let there be mechs. And Tiffany's watching extraterrestrials that eat people in this month's Blu-ray Spotlight.
Thanks, Jesse. This month we are geeking out on the ultimate Blu-ray edition of Super 8. It's a throwback to all those 80s sci-fi movies that we all grew up watching, but with a much larger special effects budget.
All this and more in episode 46 of Qore, presented by the PlayStation Network. I'll see you on the inside. On this desolate planet, a war is being waged over the universe's most valuable resource, Rift Energy. A lone gunman, torn between two worlds, has been hired to protect these rifts or die trying in Starhawk. To mine some info on the sci-fi tale, we headed to Lightbox Interactive in Austin, Texas. There, we met up with the creative minds behind the game.
So what is the story of Starhawk?
The story of Starhawk really revolves around our hero character, Emmett Graves.
Every day is a fight to survive.
Emmett Graves is, for all intents and purposes, he's a ticking time bomb. He's a man that exists out in the frontier, and he's really trapped in the middle between the two major factions in the game.
The problem? Well, the outlaw and I have a common bond.
On one side, we have the human rift miners, and they are out colonizing the distant corners of space, which we call the frontier. And it's really their gold rush. They're looking for, in their case, blue gold, these blue geysers of rift energy. And they're setting up installations and extractors to mine this rift energy. But unfortunately, when mankind gets exposed to rift energy, they become these weird mutant creatures. Their flesh burns off of their bodies, they lose their mind, and they become outcast humans. And so those two core factions, one mines rift energy, and the other one is hell-bent on protecting it.
We're rift salvagers. Hired guns with a knack for saving claims.
And he is somebody who actually lives between these two factions of Outcast and Rifter because he has come in contact with this rift energy, but he's one of the very few people in this part of the solar system that has not actually been turned all the way over to the Outcast side.
As the story unfolds in Starhawk's single-player campaign mode, you'll meet the colorful characters that populate Emmett's homeworld of Dust.
So Emmett has been called in by Jonas, the mayor of White Sands, and he has to work with Tracy Howe, who's the town's sheriff.
You might want to help the sheriff out.
One of the first missions you'll play, the two of them have to go to a worksite that has just recently been attacked by the Outcast. And upon coming upon this worksite, they've actually just recently blown apart the extractor, and it's chaos. So when you get to the worksite, you have to completely clear out these war bands of Outcasts that have come in, and you clear the entire area out. And as they continue to attack, you have to build up your defenses and pretty much defend the area against them.
That's how you earn a paycheck.
Starhawk's fully realized universe isn't the only thing that stands out from other shooters.
You've created a system for Starhawk that you're calling Build and Battle. What is it and how does it work?
So the build and battle system is a way for you to drop combat structures onto the battlefield, pretty much anywhere you want. From bunkers that give you supplies and a kind of a defensive position to fight from, walls that you can string together and block off different parts of the battlefield, automated turrets, vehicle pads that provide a spawn point for vehicles, sniper towers, energy shields, all kinds of stuff.
But there's a price to be paid for dropping buildings anywhere your heart desires.
So we came up with a resource, this Rift Energy, and the Rift Energy is something that actually fuels the story and it fuels what these characters are there for and therefore why they're fighting over it.
And you get Rift Energy by killing enemies and completing objectives, like capturing flags or capturing bases. You kind of end up with this core strategic loop of the game, which is build a bunch of stuff that makes you better at completing objectives, which gets you a bunch of Rift Energy, which lets you build more stuff, and so forth.
Do you have a favorite structure?
I really tend to favor our little vulture dispenser. The vultures are the jetpacks in the game. Okay. And it's because the jetpack enables you to do some really interesting hit and run kind of tactics, which is in keeping with my personal play style.
Our play style is a bit less subtle. For us, nothing beats strapping into the Hawk, the game's transformable mech.
The first thing that we showed off, obviously, is the Hawk, which is our aircraft that turns into this enormous walking mech that has its own weapons on the ground. And it definitely is fun, and it's really exciting to use and be able to go both back and forth through those two modes.
So you can get access to a Hawk or any of the other vehicles from certain build and battle parts. In the case of the Hawk, there's a Hawk launch pad, and it's a build and battle structure that you spend some Rift Energy and call down. And it's a big pad that sits up off the ground, and there's a mech standing on it.
What sets Starhawk's gameplay apart from your typical shooter?
If I see one team bringing a strategy against me that's just brutal and it's really smart and well executed, I can change the layout of my base. I can go set up a new base. That allows gameplay, even on the same map, to be fresh from moment to moment to moment.
In addition to online and offline co-op gameplay, Starhawk lets up to 32 players compete at once in its online multiplayer modes.
So we have the capture the flag mode, which everybody's been playing the beta, and that's pretty straightforward. The one key difference from typical capture the flag is that when the flag is dropped out in the field, it takes some time to return. And what that tends to create is a situation where you're usually out there using the build and battle system to build up a little kind of ad hoc defense to keep the enemy from picking it back up again long enough for you to return it. We have our team deathmatch mode, and that's standard team deathmatch. You're playing for total kills, whichever team gets to the score limit first wins.
Want to give us any suggestions on how to beat the competition?
There's a few things that you can remember. One of the first things that people typically go to, especially new players early on in the game typically go to, is the small auto turrets. So they're a really obvious base defense, and they're pretty effective, but the thing to remember is that they can actually be taken out if you just approach them carefully, and even your basic kinetic rifle that you spawn with is pretty effective at taking them out. Find yourself a little spot of cover that you can kind of peek out, fire off a few shots until the turret acquires you, step back in, wait a second, peek out, fire off a few shots, and take the turret down.
Nice. Get that? All the noobs are going to be playing with the turrets, destroy them, and you win.
Life on the galactic frontier never looks so fun, or so deadly. You better stock up on Rift Energy, locate a pair of sturdy wings, and hatch a solid battle plan, or you're toast. There's no second chances in this town.
What do you get when you take a 7,000 square foot space, pimp it out like a playground for superheroes, and invite the public to come run amok? You get the awesomeness that is the Tempest Free Running Academy of Chatsworth, California. So if you've ever caught yourself daydreaming about sailing power lines like Cole McGrath or making death-defying leaps like Nathan Drake, dream no more. Tempest Academy lets you push those bipedal boundaries with guidance from one of their expert coaches, like this guy, Gabe Nunez. We managed to tie down the free running pro to chat about his parkour repertoire. And I even got my very own one-on-one tutorial. Look out, world.
What's the difference between parkour and free running?
Free running is kind of a jump off of parkour, and free running is more focused on finding your own path, using your environment in whichever way you see fit.
How long have you been a free runner?
I like to say that I took it serious starting in 2007.
And now you're a pro free runner, so what does that exactly mean?
I don't know, that's a great question. I guess it means that I've been able to fortunately turn it into a career for myself. It's also helped me get into the stunt business, which I moved to LA to do stunt work for films.
Have you ever gotten really injured doing this?
I just got the worst injury I've ever had right here on this wall. The other day, I got some stitches in my leg. But that's the worst, and it's taken me 28 years to get those, so, you know.
Okay.
I've had good odds so far.
What's some of the stuff that's available here? There's so many different terrains.
What we have here in the gym is about 7,200 square feet of fun adult playground, a trampoline, huge foam pit, 7-foot ledge that we can jump off of into that pit, a couple of different gaps and things like that, along with a spring floor for people to train on.
What do you think it is that has made parkour and free running blow up recently?
We have a saying, and we say that all you need is a pair of shoes. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why it's exploded so well, is because even that's a lie. Like, you don't even need shoes. You can just train. All you have to do is go out and interact with your environment, and you are now doing it.
Have you played any of the games that incorporate parkour? There's a ton of them coming out now.
I have. I've played Mirror's Edge. I've played Assassin's Creed. We worked on the trailer for Brink, so we got to do some cool motion capture for that.
Is the in-game parkour really possible in life?
Yes and no. Yes, a lot of those moves are actual techniques, and yes, a lot of them are doable, but I would just say that most of them are exaggerated distance-wise.
So you're trying to say that Nathan Drake in Uncharted can't make some of those jumps?
No, I'm trying to say that I think Nathan Drake's got it. I'm just not necessarily sure I can hang with it.
Okay, that's enough talk. I want to learn some free running skills.
All right, let's do it. The key to precision jumping is being on the balls of your feet. That's kind of the best balance point we have, and you can always squat down and get comfortable in that position.
Okay.
So you're gonna step to it, and you wanna get on the balls of your feet just like that. Nice, there you go. Leave off of 2 feet. You're gonna jump with both feet at the same time to the next obstacle. All right? Nice, yeah. And bounding, rather than 2 feet on there, we're gonna run along these things 1 foot at a time.
Okay.
Ball your feet all the way through. Just like that. Very nice. So first thing I want you to do is you're gonna come over here and you're gonna put your right hand on this block. Yep. And then...
Done, that was easy.
Step 2 would be right hand, then your left foot. Very nice.
2 steps done.
Your last step, I want you to put a little more pressure on the ground, and you're gonna jump into that, so you move swiftly right past it. Yeah.
How'd I do? How'd I do?
You did good. So let's put this together. What we have here is we're gonna do those bounds and precisions that we did earlier. Then you have that vault to clear, okay?
Okay.
You ready?
Okay.
Yeah. How you feeling?
That's not what was supposed to happen.
Came in a little hot, but there's nothing wrong with charging it. You ready to give it one more shot?
Let's do it again.
All right. Yes. So what do you think about going up top and taking it to a new height?
You know, I mean, I feel like I conquered that, so I can do pretty much anything. Oh my gosh!
You all right?
That was really scary. This was pretty awesome. One step closer to being a pro.
I agree. Thanks for coming out. I hope you had fun.
I did. I'll be back.
Yeah, you should.
Oh. Okay, I don't know if I'll be back after that.
Working for Umbrella has its perks. The groans of the infected, the foul stench of decay, and the satisfying crunch of a job well done. Make no mistake, we're not here on a rescue mission. You've got something else in mind entirely. This is Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. In this flashback to the events of Resident Evil 2 and 3, the tables are turned as you become an elite officer of the Umbrella Security Service. That's right, this is a scorched earth assignment, and you're the bad guy. In the single-player campaign mode, you and your AI teammates must cover up any evidence of Umbrella's involvement in Raccoon City's T-virus outbreak and leave no witnesses.
Identify yourself. Kill them all.
Before the mission starts, choose one of 6 playable characters from the Umbrella Security Service Delta team. Lupo is a weapons expert with an impressive arsenal. Vector handles reconnaissance and is a master of disguise. As the team's medic, Bertha can cure herself or infected teammates. Four Eyes is a viral specialist with the ability to program infected enemies, converting zombies and twisted balls of mutated flesh into allies. And Beltway is the demolition man, taking out targets with fragmentation mines and sticky explosives. Each character's abilities and additional weapons are unlockable with experience points earned from killing enemies and completing missions. As you trek through the city, clearing out objectives and incinerating evidence, prepare to encounter resistance from 3 separate but equally deadly enemies. U.S. Special Operations Forces, bioorganic weapons of all shapes and sizes, also known as BOWs, and hordes of zombies. Keeping your distance is especially important when dealing with infected zombies and BOWs. If one manages to grab you and you're unable to shake them off, you become infected too. While in this near zombie state, other zombies will ignore you, which makes killing and avoiding them much easier. The bad news is, you're now in a race against time. Either heal yourself with one of the green herbs found growing throughout Raccoon City, or administer a quick dose of antiviral spray. Otherwise, you become the enemy with no control over your body. You'll watch helplessly as your zombified body attacks your teammates until one of them puts you out of your misery. Thanks, pal. I needed that. Up to 3 of your friends can join you on the Umbrella payroll and help fight through the campaign in 4-player online co-op mode. If friendly team-based competition is more your thing, take on one of Operation Raccoon City's versus modes. Team Attack pits your squad against another in a fight for the most kills.
Did you just shoot me?
Survivor mode leaves you and your group fighting to stay alive as long as you can until a helicopter arrives. Too bad there aren't enough seats for everyone.
You didn't make it.
And in Heroes mode, you and the opposing team face off as Resident Evil's most popular characters. Fight for good as Leon S. Kennedy, Jill Valentine, and others.
Clear! Fire!
Hi there.
Or go evil as bad guys, including Hunk and Ada Wong. Both teams will battle it out alongside the constant threat of contamination from zombies and those nasty bioorganic weapons. In this kill-or-be-killed city, teamwork and cooperation are the keys to surviving the outbreak and completing your mission. Stay in tight formation and don't forget to use those special abilities.
Don't take another step.
Show no mercy, and you get to keep your life and your job.
Robot walkers? Why would we choose awkward legs over wheels or a reliable tank tread? Maybe it's the fun of stomping through enemies. And why stop there? The best mechs can jump, fly, and fire off huge guns. Maybe there's something to these machines after all. Badass robot walkers are back, leaving a path of destruction in Armored Core 5. Even if you don't know your mecha from your manga, you can get right into the AC action. A 10-mission story mode introduces the controls and ramps up your skills. Typical for the genre, the pulpy plot includes story twists and some painful dialogue.
I'd say you were perfectly suited to the job. The job of exterminating rats, that is.
But it's just a setting for the rise of the machines. These giant robots strike a good balance between heft and maneuverability. You can rush forward or back, bound up buildings, and leap to avoid attacks if you can time it right. But it takes a moment to turn your vehicles, leaving you open to surprise attacks from the side or behind. You'll pick from dozens of weapons, the first of many customizations. The left and right arms wield 2 main guns, and a third sits on your shoulder. Separate fire buttons let you attack with all 3 at once, and you can carry backups if you want to switch out a weapon. Choose from a machine gun, sniper rifle, shotgun, rockets, and many more. A giant plasma sword? Yes! If you need a weapon that you aren't carrying or run out of ammo, find a workshop to reload in the middle of a mission. But don't forget the ACs are weapons themselves. You can shoulder charge straight into an enemy. Customize the rest of your mech as much as the arsenal. Start with the color scheme, designing the style for each part. You can also add decals and other graphics. You gotta look your best. Then pick your own head, torso, arms, legs, energy generator, and more. Each option includes many choices, some of which unlock as you keep playing, and each part has unique attributes with their own strategic advantages. For example, some battles might call for a slow, long-range fighter with heavy armor that can take a lot of damage. In others, you might be better off with a light, nimble robot with less armor that can quickly get behind the enemy for a surprise. Just be careful about using too much bulky gear, or your mech will slow to a crawl. Your mech strategy is even more important when you play with friends. 2 gamers can cooperate in the single-player story and tons of one-off missions. Even more can play together in Armored Core's persistent online world that lets you create clans of 20 players and battle in 5-on-5 turf wars. Each player can build a mech with a specialty, like one teammate designing a scout type that can rush in and jam enemy equipment, while armored snipers take shots from a distance. Teamwork and cooperation are crucial. 4 of the 5 players drive robots, while the 5th controls the command center instead of a mech. You'll be able to see the full map, objectives, enemies, and other factors, calling out tactics in real time. Cohesive teams will thrive online. You can play team deathmatch and other common challenges, but we're excited about persistent multiplayer maps. Here's how they work. After destroying certain targets, a team claims an online territory, installing its own turrets and traps, much like a tower defense game. Those forces stand guard against new attackers from other teams, letting your territory battle live on 24 hours a day. If a new team takes over your map, they'll install their own defenses and you'll have to fight again to reclaim it. Almost everything you do online and offline earns experience points for you and your team. Use those to unlock new weapons, additional parts, decals, and more. Play how you want with extensive customization and complex strategy. If something about a giant walking robot doesn't seem right, you can even swap in a tank tread.
The final battle was close at hand.
Armored Core 5 welcomes new mech gamers while delivering depth with its rich team tactics and persistent online matches. Plus, it has all the large-scale destruction fans expect. You can really rock 'em and sock 'em with these robots.